Welcome to this explainer on the first 10 chapters of Robert Louis Stevenson's absolute classic, Treasure Island. When we think of this book, we usually picture tropical shores, parrots, and buried gold, right? But today, we're going to extract a sheer masterclass in storytelling. We are breaking down exactly how Stevenson uses this incredible slow burn suspense to build a perfect thriller long before a ship ever even leaves the dock. 15 men on the dead man's chest, yo-ho-ho, and a bottle of rum. We are immediately plunged in medias res, literally dropped right into the middle of the action. We're in the dark, claustrophobic atmosphere of the Admiral Benbow Inn. There's no grand ocean adventure yet. Nope, just a terrifying, rum-drinking pirate named Billy Bones roaring out that famous shanty. He's this scarred, heavy man with a tarry pigtail just dragging a massive sea chest into a quiet country inn. And just like that, he brings a whole world of violence right to the doorstep of our young narrator, Jim Hawkins. So, how exactly did a quiet innkeeper's son end up at the very center of the most famous pirate treasure hunt in history? It is a massive leap from a lonely, frost-covered coastal inn to the incredibly dangerous high seas. Let's trace the brilliant pacing that actually gets Jim Hawkins there, because, well, he doesn't just wake up and decide to go on a fun adventure. No, he is violently pulled into a dangerous web of survival and greed. Section 1. The Old Sea Dog. The absolute catalyst for this entire adventure is the arrival of that mysterious lodger, Billy Bones. And looking at this timeline brilliantly illustrates the closing net of danger wrapping around young Jim. Just notice how the timeline compresses. We go from the arrival of Billy Bones on day 1, where he pays Jim to keep an eye out for a mysterious one-legged man, to a tense standoff months later. That's when a tallow-faced pirate named Black Dog shows up, and suddenly there's a bloody sword fight right in the parlor. And then the pacing just accelerates wildly. That very same afternoon, a terrifying blind beggar named Pew arrives and grips Jim's arm like a vice. The outside world is literally violently crashing in on them. Now, think about the incredible psychological power of this seemingly simple object. Blind Pew forces Jim to lead him to Billy Bones, all just to pass a small piece of blackened paper into his hand. This is the infamous black spot. It's a pirate summons indicating judgment, giving Bones until exactly 10 o'clock that night. And get this, the sheer, unadulterated terror of receiving this ultimatum literally frightens the hardened Billy Bones to death. It strikes him down with a fatal stroke right then and there on the spot. Crazy, right? Section 2. The Pirate's Map. So, with Bones dead on the floor and a literal horde of cutthroat pirates rapidly approaching, Jim and his mother are frantically unlocking the captain's massive sea chest. And it's basically a museum of a pirate's life inside. There's an unworn suit, pistols, bar silver, shells from the West Indies, and this canvas bag of mixed gold coins. Now, Jim's mother stubbornly insists on counting out her exact due, coin by agonizing coin, even as they can hear the terrifying tap-tap-tapping of the blind man's stick on the frozen road outside. It's so tense. But the absolute crucial point is at the very bottom of this list. Right when the pirate whistle blows to signal an attack, Jim just grabs that mysterious bundle tied in oilcloth to square their account, and they bolt into the night. After somehow surviving that terrifying raid on the inn, Jim takes this oilcloth packet straight to the local authorities, Dr. Livesey and Squire Trelawney. They cut it open and, wow, revealed the absolute motherlode. Inside is an account book detailing 20 years of sunken ships and plundered towns, plus a highly detailed map of an island marked with 3 red crosses. But this isn't just any old map. It belongs to the legendary, bloodthirsty Captain Flint, a pirate so fiercely violent that the squire claims Blackbeard was practically a child compared to him. Bulk of treasure here. Right beside a red cross on that map are those exact tiny red words, signed JF, for J. Flint. And these 4 little words act as a massive psychological trigger. They just ignite an absolute fever of greed. Squire Trelawney instantly abandons all reason, and any basic safety protocols for that matter, declaring they're going to travel to Bristol, buy a ship, and find that treasure even if they have to search for an entire year. Section 3. Assembling the crew. Moving over to Bristol, we really start to see how this naive excitement builds a total foundation for disaster. Just comparing our leaders perfectly frames the dramatic irony here. On one hand, despite strict warnings, Squire Trelawney is overly trusting and just blabs the secret to literally everyone, completely blinded by the romance of the sea. On the other hand, Captain Smollett, the guy actually hired to sail the ship, is incredibly sharp, strictly professional, and highly suspicious. He tells them point blank he doesn't like the crews and he doesn't like the men. And as the audience, we know Smollett's paranoia is 100% justified. I thought I had only found a cook, but it was a crew I had discovered. So why exactly is Smollett so worried? Well, it's because the squire proudly went out and hired this charming tavern keeper to be the ship's cook, Long John Silver. And then Silver helpfully steps in and handpicks the rest of the crew himself, finding the absolute toughest, most hardened sailors in all of Bristol. The squire honestly thinks he's hit the jackpot here. But here is where the suspense really twists the knife. We, along with a newly suspicious Jim Hawkins, suddenly realize a terrifying fact. This friendly, helpful ship's cook, Long John Silver, is a seafaring man with one leg. He fits the absolute exact description of the nightmare figure that Billy Bones warned Jim about way back at the very beginning. Now, when Jim actually meets him, Silver is so incredibly clever and pleasant that Jim naturally lowers his guard. But we, the audience, we know for sure that a trap has just been sprung.
Section 4. Tension at Sea.
Once everyone is aboard the beautiful schooner, the Hispaniola, the atmosphere gets incredibly tense. Captain Smollett is not taking any chances. He realizes that thanks to the squire's loose lips, every single sailor on board already knows they're hunting for treasure. So he immediately puts his mutiny prevention plan into action and basically prepares the ship for a siege. He forces them to move all the powder and arms to the stern, right under the cabin, berths only the squire's loyal men nearby, and demands the exact location of the treasure map be kept an absolute secret. I mean, he's literally treating his own crew like a hostile enemy force right out of the gate. Amidst all this brewing powder keg energy, Long John Silver is just perfectly playing the role of the friendly cook. But there's a catch. He carries around a 200-year-old parrot named Captain Flint who endlessly screeches, "Pieces of 8, pieces of 8." These historic Spanish silver dollar coins are heavily associated with pirate plunder, so it serves as this constant, super eerie reminder of the bloody pirate history lurking right beneath the cook's friendly facade. As they sail closer and closer to the island, the men are getting spoiled with double rum and this open barrel of apples on deck. But man, the feeling of impending doom is just suffocating. And that brings us right to one of the greatest setups in all of literature. As the ship finally nears Treasure Island, Jim climbs inside that nearly empty apple barrel on the deck for a quick snack, only to hear the heavy thud of a crutch right beside him. Talk about a chilling cliffhanger. We are left teetering right on the brink of a full-blown mutiny. It really perfectly summarizes Stevenson's masterclass here. True suspense isn't just about loud pirate battles. It's about the terrifying lengths humans will go to when they're infected by the greed for a dead man's chest. So what dark secrets does Jim actually overhear Long John Silver confessing? And honestly, more importantly, if someone handed you a map with bulk of treasure here, written in red, would you be able to resist the pull of the sea? Well, you'll just have to dive into the rest of the book to find out.